Hey guys, I'm so excited to share this tutorial with you. It's a DIY home decor tutorial where I have taken a Kmart wooden MDF rainbow, which is kind of the start of a wall hanging. Currently available from Kmart for $3, but you could get them other places, I'm sure. I have created 3 different versions using this base. So I've got more of a boho minimalist vibe for the first one, and the second one is more of like a dark academia style. It's got like dark rich green and a nice grey with chunky wool. And then the last one's kind of an eclectic maximalist mix. I've used lots of different random ribbons and lace and wool for the base. I hope you really enjoy this video. It was super fun to make, and let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see more of this style video in the future. Okay, first up we have got the Boho Minimalist one. This one we're literally going to leave the wooden rainbow plain as is, and I'm just going to add a whole heap of this beautiful macrame cord that I got from Spotlight. I did get it in the white. You could get it in the natural tone to match more with the wooden rainbow, or you could actually paint the wooden rainbow white if you wanted to have it really white look. So the main technique you need to learn for this project for all 3 versions is how to attach the cord. So I find the nicest look is when you get your length, double it in size for the cut mark, then fold it back in half and get that loop, put it through the front, over around the back, then get your thumb and pointer finger and pull the 2 tails through and then pull it tight. So as you can see here, you've got the loop, pulling the tails through and then tightening it up. And then I like to start from the outside so that you can keep it nice and even and the rainbow doesn't start to like sag to one side, because that makes it a bit harder to work with. So see here, I'm just going from left, right, left, right, left, right, starting at the outside, working my way into the middle. You could also work your way from the middle to the outside, but it's just a personal preference. So with this one, I was thinking about just keeping it just the macrame, but because I got a 50-meter spool, however, I had used this for my kids' art workshops as well. So I was worried I was going to run out before I finished this thing. So instead of just keeping it the white macrame cord, I have actually added some of this really sweet pom-pom trim. So it's just white also, and it's got these lovely little fluffy pom-poms, and I think this still really works beautifully with the boho minimalist vibe because it's not changing the color, it's keeping it nice and streamlined, but it just adds a little bit of texture and gives it some interest to the wall hanging. So now we're at the point where we're almost fully complete down here, but I really like to keep those threads nice and close together so it's got a really full look. So here I am just spreading them across to make them sit right up next to each other. I really don't want to see any of the wood on that bottom row, and I'm also working out a nice pattern because I want to keep it symmetrical. So I want it to be the macrame cord and then the pom-pom trim nice and evenly spaced. So for example, I think I've got like 2 macrame cords, then 1 pom-pom thread, 2 macrame cords, 1 pom-pom thread, and I'm doing that throughout the whole thing to keep it really nice, easy on the eye, nice and symmetrical, which goes well with the boho minimalist vibe. If it was the eclectic maximalist one, it wouldn't matter if it was nice and evenly spread, but you really do want that nice symmetrical vibe for this one. Okay, so I'm really happy with the fullness of this one now. I'm just rearranging the cords to make it nice and even. Now, because I've got the pom-pom thread on the outside on the left, I want to put one on the right side so that it's nice and even. And yeah, I'm really happy with this. I think it's done. I did speak too soon. Once I sort of evened them out nicely to hide the wood, there was a bit of a gap in the middle. So instead of adding 2 more on the sides, I've just added 1 to the center, and then I feel like that is now complete. So the next part of the process is to even up the bottom. So for this particular one, I want to keep it really even and smooth. So I'm going to cut the cords so that they're pretty straight and relatively all the same length. So that is wall hanging one now complete. Now we're on to the second one where we're adding in some amazing pouring paint techniques and some chunky wool. So for this one, I'm using this really nice green and grey wool, and I'm also using some of the Montmartre brand pouring paint. Now I buy these paints in the really big bottles because I use them for my workshops as well. You can't buy that size retail, but the smaller ones will be perfect. You can get a little small 4-pack, so you could pick out the colours that you like. Now I don't have the green, so I'm mixing it up. I was going to use that darker blue off to the side there, but it's a cool blue, so I wanted to use the warm blue and the yellow, and oh my gosh, look at that. That is literally a perfect match. Pat on the back to me for that one. So that's the green, and now with the grey, obviously I don't have a big bottle of grey pouring paint either. So I'm just mixing up a little bit of white, and then I don't have black pouring paint, but I have, so I can just use a little bit of normal acrylic paint. Because it's black, it's only going to need a tiny little amount to get that nice grey. So you can just pop it off to the side there and then mix it in. I'm putting my wool right next to me there just to use as a reference. And you can also buy a medium from Montmartre that turns normal paint into pouring paint. It works okay. I don't think it works as well as the pouring paint itself. Here's the grey done. Really good match. I'm happy with that. Okay, so now to start with the pouring paint, you always want to have a plastic piece underneath before you start. I have just got some old bubble wrap that I got from an order. Now with this rainbow wall hanging, you basically want to try and pour all around. You will not get it on the wood all the time. You will spill some like I have here. Don't worry about it. Now I'm wanting sort of not a really super patterned marble look. I'm just wanting more of a sporadic look. If I wanted a really mixed up marble look, I probably would have added the grey colour in with the green and poured it out at the same time. I'm not an expert when it comes to pouring paint. I've done it a handful of times and I've liked the effect that I've gotten. But if you want to get a different look from your pouring paint, it may be better to watch some pouring paint tutorials, but I really like how this turned out. So with the grey, it's kind of more of a highlight colour than a main colour. So I'm just going over it. If you notice, if you don't tip the little cup as much, you get less of a flow, which gives you a thinner line. The more you tip, the thicker and chunkier that paint will come out. So I'm just kind of trying to fill in the bits where I didn't get with the green. So anywhere there's exposed wood, and I want to kind of even it nicely so that it is evenly spread over the green. When I got to the bottom, because I was almost out, I've just done a really thorough scrape to get the last of that grey because I didn't want to really have to mix up anymore. So I'm just trying to look at where there's no grey and adding at least a few little spots of grey so that it's really nice and textured. Okay, now that we've finished with the grey, I'm just going to come back to this green and scrape out as much as I can to fill in those spots where there is still wood exposed. I could have just gone really hard and heavy at the start, but then I would have had a lot of excess on the plastic and I just didn't want to have that. And then finally, I'm just getting the icy pole stick and trying to scoop up any excess paint dripped onto the plastic. And then it's the fun part. So tipping it over for about 10 seconds each side, either hold onto the plastic or you might want to actually get some gloves to do this part because it does get very messy on the fingers if you're using just your fingers and not protecting them with the plastic or some gloves. And then I kind of move it around in all directions and usually keep it there for about 5 to 10 seconds depending on how the pattern is looking. Now, you really want to try and cover the rest of the wood in this stage. So just have a look where you have got exposed wood still and try and like lean it in that direction so that that pouring paint starts to flow and cover the excess wood. You will probably get a lot of drops at this point, and that is totally okay because you've got your plastic underneath covering it. If you're a beginner with pouring paint, you might want to get a bigger piece of plastic than I've used here. I just used a scrap, but as I said, I've done pouring paint quite a few times now, so I kind of know how it flows. Now see these last little bits of wood that are exposed? I'm just getting the icy pole stick here and gently covering them. Where there is two of the paints, you don't want to like spread around with the icy pole stick too much because you don't want those colors to blend into each other and mix up. You want to keep that marble look as much as possible, so just be really careful when you're using the icy pole stick. Now we're finished. I am using my heat tool just to speed the process up because I want to get to the next stage to show you guys. You don't have to do this. You can leave it to sit overnight and dry. And you do need to be careful if you are going to use a heat tool, because if it's too hot and you get too close, the paint will actually start to bubble, and we don't want bubbly paint because then it just like it gives a yucky look. So here you can see I have gotten too close and I have had a little bubble, but so I've just taken it easy. I ended up actually leaving it for a few hours anyway. Now, when it's dry, you do have to take it off the plastic, and I have found that there is often some little bits of dried paint that have kind of spread out on the plastic. So I just get a little Stanley knife and very, very carefully just trim that excess paint off. Always remember when using a Stanley knife or an X-Acto knife or whatever you call them, go away from your hands and your body. We do not want cut fingers, okay? Okay, now we're ready to add the wool. I have just used a little piece of natural twine as the top hanger to hang it on the wall. And although you don't need to have your wooden wall hanging attached on the wall to put it up, you could do it on the table. I just find it a lot easier to do this stage while your wooden rainbow is hanging on the wall. It's just much easier to handle. The pieces of thread or wool don't go everywhere like they do when you're doing it on the table. So if you can find somewhere to hang it when you're working on this stage, that is the best way to do it. I also find it's a good idea to pre-cut a fair few pieces of the wool before you start attaching them, just so you're not back and forth doing one cut and then hang and then one cut and hang. I do about 10 of each to get started, and then if I need extras, I'll do a few more towards the end to avoid wastage. So even though on the last wall hanging I said I prefer to start on the outside, as you can see on this one I've started on the inside. And I think with the pattern I have decided just to go green, grey, green, grey, green, grey the whole way across, just to keep it interesting and like a stripy pattern. So once I've done the bulk of it, I will look and take a step back, have a look and see what I think. I won't bore you with the whole process of putting every piece of wool on to this hanging. I'll fast forward it a little bit to get to the end. So here we are. I really like this look, and again I've decided just to keep this one really straight and symmetrical at the bottom. So just giving it a little trim up at the bottom there, pretending I'm a hairdresser for 5 minutes, and then making sure that the rainbow is actually straight so that I am cutting it straight. And that is number 2 done. Let me know what you think of this one, and then we are on to number 3. So I've called number 3 an eclectic / maximalist aesthetic. Now this one is also featuring the pouring paint that I did with number 2. However, I've used 3 colors on that one, and I'm using a little mixture. I've just got all these random small pieces of white wool, trim lace in my little tub of threads, and I just wanted to use them up because, you know, I'm just sick of having little bits and pieces. So this is a great one if you've got lots of little leftovers from other projects. I believe that you could do it in multicolored as well, and it could look really cool, and you could add some like beads and buttons and all kinds of things, but I'm still keeping it just all white, and I've decided to add some feathers to this one. So this is really multicolored, not multicolored, multi-textured, multi-lengthed. I am going to give them a little trim, but I am going to keep them sort of a bit uneven on this one because I think it goes with the look of all the different wools and trims. So then we're also going to use white feathers. Again, I could use multicolored feathers. You could use all kinds of different things. I might do another tutorial where I go thrifting and just see what I can find to make like a really full-on colorful bold one. Here I'm just sort of working out roughly where I'm going to put the feathers, how many feathers I'm going to need, and then I start attaching with my hot glue gun this guy here, which is a cordless Azito hot glue gun. I love it. Is my best friend. I used to use a glue gun, just the standard craft one where you have a cord, and in my workshops I'd be, you know, using the extension cord and having to remind the adults or kids, depending on the class, not to trip over the extension cord. And then someone one day said, oh my gosh, you know, you can get like an industrial hot glue gun. So I literally raced over to Bunnings, looked in the tool section, and there it was. You can get them in all different brands. I just get the Azito one because it's cheap. That's what I've got my drill and other tools in. So the battery is interchangeable between the drill and the hot glue gun and all the other tools. So yeah, highly recommend if you do a lot of hot glue gunning. Obviously be super duper careful with this. You do burn your fingers very easily if you get the glue on your fingers, so just be extra careful. I'm kind of just twirling the threads and the wool around the feather to give a little bit of a nicer finish. You could add beads to that point and sort of sit the beads just over the top of the feathers, but I just wanted to keep it really simple and flowy this one. So yeah, I just work out how many feathers I've needed. I always like to use an odd amount of feathers, but it's up to you. It depends on what you want. And that, my friends, is done with number 3. So here they are, 3 quite different wall hangings featuring the wooden rainbows from Kmart. I hope you like this tutorial. I would love to know any feedback you've got for me, so leave a comment. And if you want to see more art and craft tutorials, I'm really back onto the YouTube train this year, so I'll be uploading lots, so subscribe to my channel.